to go around that way. So, sorry, Cathy, didn't mean to snatch it off you. So we've now got a hairpin bend off the Spon Lane section, so we're coming off Brindley's old main line now, and we're dropping back onto the super highway that was Telford's new main line. This wide, double towpath, efficient piece of water. Of course, it is still very beautiful. See behind me there's yet another gauging station of some type. So they generally came after junctions, I think, so that they could catch traffic that had come out of a factory or a warehouse or whatever that was away from the other gauging stations. So a bit like the toll road of today, where you could never get away with having to go through some sort of toll paying station wherever you've come on the motorway. So just heading down the new main line now, back into Brum. So this is virtually dead straight, other than, you know, a couple of slight bends. And everything that we're going to go under, we've gone under on the old main line as well, because the old and the new lines are sort of literally yards apart. So everything that has to cross one's had to cross the other. The thing on this section is that everything's a lot higher, because obviously this is lower down. So this is the Steward Aquaduct, built by Thomas Telford in 1828, and it carries Brindley's old main line over his new main line. Also here is the Stour Valley section of the West Coast Main Line that was built in 1852. And all of these three are bridged by the M5 motorway, which was built in 1970. So this, I guess, is a pretty unique section of the canal. Across the British Isles, I guess. You've got the M5 motorway crossing over the West Coast Main Line, crossing over Brindley's old main line canal, crossing over Telford's new main line canal. And I guess you could say that every single span of bridge that's coming across here was a feat of engineering in its own right, in its own day. And altogether, combined, makes a beautiful piece of architecture. So the family business in glassmaking and that sort of manufacturing was from 1771. It was William Chance who started that business. But Robert Lucas Chance, known as Lucas Chance, actually came to the Spon Lane works in 1822. He purchased the British Crown Glass Company, which was here at that point. One of my viewers, Trevor Surplus, pointed out in my last vlog a part of the glassworks that was already under restoration. You can see it from the old main line here. It is of course positioned between the old and new main lines. Trevor tells me there's going to be a new lighthouse tower with a working lamp. So in the future, travellers on the M5 will have absolutely no problem in being able to pinpoint their location. So thanks for that, Trevor. But there's also loads of info online regarding the restoration of this historic site. the early 19th century, it was known as the greatest glassmaker in Britain. Now, throughout everything else that it did, it also created a lot of the glass for the Crystal Palace, therefore the Great Exhibition of 1851. It's also created glass for the Houses of Parliament, including the faces of Westminster Clock Tower, which we know as Big Ben. And it's also supplied a lot of the ornamental windows for the White House in America. Now, the Pilkington brothers acquired 50% of the shareholding in 1945. By 1981, the works closed down here in Smethwick. However, Chance Glass Limited actually still operates in Malvern in Worcestershire. You're going to put a bin there, make sure you empty it, otherwise this is what happens. So welcome to Galton Bridge. When Telford created the Galton Cutting in the late 1820s, it was known as one of the largest earthworks of its time, and he bridged the cutting with the longest and highest single span to that date. The bridge itself was cast by Horsley Ironworks in Tipton. It was closed to motor traffic in 1975. Obviously, the traffic was getting heavier and busier, and so now it is a pedestrian-only bridge. So the Galton Cutting is 3.7 kilometres long. So Telford's guys had to dig this thing out. I mean, Galton Bridge just shows the depth of it. Galton Bridge sits at 20 metres high and it has a span of 46 metres. How on earth did they dig all this out of here with no excavating machines that we have today? Absolutely incredible. It still defies all understanding for me at the moment as to how that happened. The whole cutting and the bridge itself was named after Samuel Galton, and he was a banker who served on the Birmingham Canal Navigations Company around about that time. Can you just imagine digging all of that out? You can see where the bridge sits on the top. That's where the level of the land would have been, and all of that's gone. I just don't get it. But the bridge itself is very similar to other Telford bridge constructions. Holtfleet Bridge on the River Severn is an absolute prime example of that. Now, you've seen fleeting glimpses of my guest crew member Cathy, who joined me a couple of vlogs back, but you don't yet know that she's an artist. I mean, just take a look at this fantastic painting of the Galton Bridge area. And yes, her bike's significant and it is front and centre, but it's what she does. It is basically a picture of her bike, but it also shows the modern tunnel and a hint of graffiti to recognise the current view. But in shades of black and white are the ghosts of a bygone era, a navvy, a lady, a towing horse, some old craft. But just pause your film just for a moment, marvel at her talents. Now, at the end of this vlog, feel free to look in the description and find out what Cathy's motivation was behind all this. There are prints available, and if you want one, I'll put you in touch. So the Galton Tunnel is much more of a modern construction. What's happening is the busy A4151 Telford Way is running across the top. Now that was put in place because they made the Galton Bridge a pedestrian-only bridge. So you'll recall that we went through a similar tunnel that was known as Summit Tunnel. It's basically the same road going over the top of both canals. So both tunnels were of a very similar construction with just the concrete semicircular hoops going over the top. I had a great comment from a chap called Keith Veal, one of the viewers, who had actually worked on the Summit Tunnel, putting in the small sections and then pouring concrete on the top. He also told me that he worked on some of the M5 flyovers, and he also told me that there were over 30 pubs in the Spon Lane area. Nice. And so as Smethwick Pumping Station comes back into view, it's time to say goodbye to my old shipmate and my extremely talented friend Cathy. She's going to jump on a bike and get herself home from here. It's been an absolute pleasure having her with me for the last 3 vlogs, all that were filmed in one day in October. So I'm sure to see her in the new year. So it's time to head off back into Birmingham, all on my own. And so to complete the circuit, we're now back to Smethwick Junction, where a few hours back we diverted off this new main line onto Brindley's old main line, and we then went up the 3 Smethwick locks. Been an absolute pleasure having you along to these heritage stroke documentary type vlogs. I'm going to call in at Salford Junction, which to a layman is Spaghetti Junction, on my way back to my home mooring, so it'd be great to see you on that one. And please do like, subscribe and comment to all that you've seen so far. Costs you nothing. Bye for now.